Greetings, everyone. I'm Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day number 8 of the stories behind the first time you heard those beloved albums, where you were, who you were with. Did you love it then? Did you hate it then? How do you feel about it all these years later, right? Because sometimes, your opinions can change a little bit on albums and music over the years. It does happen. But I've tried to pick, and I will continue to pick all month, albums that really I instantly remember the story of that first time, because sometimes you just don't, but there's certain records that, especially if they were introduced to you by someone else or you were with someone else, that usually is something you kind of remember, right? So today we're going to go all the way back to 1976 here, and actually it's going to be 1977, because this album came out in 76, but I didn't hear it till 77. So my brother and I had a good friend. He actually was one of my brothers, if not my brother's best friend, as they were growing up. But the three of us became really, really close friends, even though I was, almost 4 years older than the both of them. So we did a lot of stuff together, and our families were very tight. And so his name was Steve. Steve, if you're watching, this is all about you, my friend. And we would often go over to his house, and we'd hang out up his room, and we'd listen to music. We were all three were Kiss fans. We did this multiple times. We used to all dress up as Kiss members, and we'd sit out on this front lawn, and we'd have little junk instruments and things and we wear the costumes and the paint and everything like that. And so we did a lot of stuff together, and we discovered a lot of music together, the three of us. So one day we're over there, and I don't honestly remember my brother being a part of this day. He must have been, but for whatever reason, he doesn't kind of factor into the story. But I know I was there with Steve, and Rich may have been there or not. I don't know, but most of the interaction was between Steve and myself. He says, I came across this great new band you've got to check out. They're awesome. They're this band from Canada. And he's like, and I got their new live album, and I picked up a couple others. He goes, you got to hear this stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Me, I'm always into hearing new stuff. So he puts on the live album, and it's pretty heavy, and it's really cool sounding. And I remember thinking, man, that guy's got a high voice. I'm like, but I'm digging this, man. The guitar is rampaging, and you can hear the bass, and the drummer is off the charts, and then the songs are pretty heavy, and so I was like, I'm liking this. And of course, that album, if you probably guessed, is All the World's a Stage by Rush. Totally into it, and we're listening to it. And I remember being totally getting into 2112 on here, and Anthem, and By Tour and the Snow Dog just blew my mind, because I love that kind of spacey section, right? That kind of proggy stuff, that atmosphere that's going on, and all the little effects that Alex is using and whatnot. Just so good. And then Working Man just blew my mind. And I'm thinking, this is awesome. So we're listening to that. We're talking. We're like, I've never heard these guys before. I love it. Loving these guys. Then he's like, well, check out. I got another one I want you to hear. So he puts on another record, and he's like, and you got to read along to the lyrics while you're listening to it. And as you know, I'm not much of a lyric guy. Steve always was really into lyrics in addition to the music. So he oftentimes would sit and try and tell me his interpretation of Kansas songs. And I'm like, I don't really give a shit. It's like, whatever. I like this. I like the music, right? He was into Kansas too. So he puts on one of the Rush studio albums, which happened to be the brand new one at the time when we were having this hangout, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, this is really cool. And he's got the vinyl inner sleeve, and he's showing it to me. Look, and I'm thinking, yeah, okay. So he's singing about the River Ralphs and breakfasting on honeydews and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what this is all about. This doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It's a whole bunch of sci-fi mumbo jumbo, but I'm loving the music. And again, it was a Farewell to Kings, and I really dug it. And they became kind of his favorite band. And I really got into them because of Steve. But he was my thing with Rush. So I went out and immediately I got All the World's a Stage. And I bought 2112. And I'm pretty sure I eventually got, but I don't remember if I got before Moving Pictures. And I also got Farewell to Kings. and hemispheres, right? But that's going a little bit further. But for me, and I really enjoyed Rush. I was really getting into them. But it wasn't until Moving Pictures came out that I became like a really, really big Rush fan. And then I went and got the ones I were missing. I went and got the first album. I went and got, the Fly By Night and Caress of Steel. And I made sure I had to have everything up until that point. That's when I became a massive fan. But Steve's the guy who got me into Rush initially. And I just remember thinking like how like heavy and raucous this was. And then really digging A Farewell to Kings, but thinking, well, that's really kind of like, that's, because at the time I wasn't listening to much of any prog at all, Kansas, Little Styx. I don't think I hadn't listened to Yes yet. I hadn't listened to Genesis yet. So really, A Farewell to Kings, because this is really not a prog album, Farewell to Kings was really my first experience other than Kansas and Styx with like prog rock and heavy prog rock. And I just remember looking at the lyrics to like Xanadu and Cygnus X1 and thinking, I don't know what this dude is. He's like, and Steve made a point to tell me. And guess who writes all these lyrics? That drummer, the Neil guy. And I was like, I don't know. But again, I was a kid. I was reading a lot of books. I liked sci-fi and fantasy and all that. So I was like, but I never at the time, even though I loved reading books that had these real complicated stories and lots of characters and things, I never kind of equated that to go along with music, right? So for me, bands writing songs with lyrics based on fantasy themes and sci-fi and all that, even though I loved reading books about that stuff, it took me a little while to get used to bands doing songs about that stuff, right? Because my inclination always was to not sit and read along to lyrics and try to understand what they're singing about. I was like, I would look at lyrics and just to make sure I understood, because I'm singing half the time. I'm thinking they're saying this and they're really saying something else. I'm like, I don't want to look like an idiot singing the wrong lyrics and stuff, which I still do to this day, right? But I never tried to interpret lyrics. That was never my thing. It's because so many people get all wrapped up in like, does this song mean this? Is he or she trying to tell you this with that line or that? I'm like, I don't know. It's like, ask them. I can't tell you, right? So let me tell you, I'm not much of a hot beverage guy, but when I'm not feeling well, some really good like herbal tea or whatever with a little teaspoon of honey in it does the trick. Honey is just a wonderful thing. Got my Guitar Hack mug here. I'm not so Hack, if you're watching, thank you so much for sending me this whenever you sent it like a year ago or whatever. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I love reaching for this when I am in the mood for some hot tea, which again isn't all that often, but I will only drink it in most cases out of my Guitar Hack mug here. So please go support Guitar Hack, right? Like and subscribe to his channel. He's got merch. He's an awesome guy. And, yeah. Anyway, it's a Guitar Hack from Canada. Rush from Canada. I didn't plan all that. It's weird how these things happen with me. Anyway, that is my pick for today. All the World's a Stage by Rush. Mr. Steve Gillette, thank you for introducing me to this album all those years ago. 1977. Wow, it's a long time ago. Still listening to them and loving them to this day. So yeah, that's my story. List yours below and visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, get the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page. Thank you in advance for all your support. And also we got the Sea of Tranquility membership options there as well. So again, thanks again. And I know when I'm recording this video, it hasn't happened yet. For those of you who did come out to see Tranquility Fall Fest last night, I hope we had a great time. I'm assuming we did, because it hasn't happened yet. It's when I'm taping this, I'm about 2 hours away of leaving the house to go head over there. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just hoping that my strength holds up during the day, and I hope my voice holds up for the day. Right now, it's not doing too bad, but I'm going to have a couple more of these, and I should be okay. I may not be able to drink beers with everybody tonight, but I just want to be able to make it through the whole day. It's been a crazy week. This cold has just been just ridiculous. So the worst possible timing ever, Anyway, I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in just a little bit for ranking the albums of Streets, Grant Arthur, and myself. It's only 2 records. More like going to be like talking about the band. Because, again, who's talking Steve Walsh and his band Streets? Nobody. We are. 2 albums. We're going to tell you which one we like more than the other, and a little bit about the history of the band and kind of why it didn't last and all that sort of thing. So that's coming up in just a little bit. Till then, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. See you Monday night for the Hudson Valley Squares. Take care. Bye-bye.